Hello everybody and welcome back to the McNutter Butters. I am Caitlin McNutt and this is...
Your husband? Did you forget already?
This is Billy McNutt. And we asked on our Facebook and on Instagram what your guys' questions were for us and decided we were going to film you guys a Q&A. So I have the questions here on my phone and we're just going to take it in order and go one at a time. So, from Courtney Elizabeth Wagner, she said, tell the story of how you met and how you picked each child's name. So, the story of how we met.
Give them the whole story.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
How we met, how we got married.
If he does it, it'll take all day. Okay, long story short, he was working as, what's it called, a vendor?
Mm-hmm.
A vendor at a flea market, and I was going around to the vendors doing like raffles and stuff like that, and I met him. I was like, hey, you want to buy a ticket? And he's just like, no. He's like, no, I'm kidding, you're cute.
She was really cute, and she still is.
Just a little thicker these days. Yeah, a lot thicker. Anyway, so that's basically how we met, and you know, saw each other on the regular every week and just went from there. Let's see, what was the rest of that question? And how you picked each child's name. With our first child, Alyssa, we were just sitting on the couch, just tossing names around. And
I had a friend from, I guess, middle school. He had a little sister. Mm-hmm. Her name was Alyssa, and I just always thought it was a pretty name. Was not an ex-girlfriend. She's much younger than me. But I just always thought it was a pretty name, and I mentioned it to her, and she thought it was a pretty name.
It's a very cute name.
So that's how we come up with Alyssa.
And then Titus is a little bit more special. Would that be the way to say it?
Yeah.
We didn't know with our second one at that time when this situation happened if we were having a boy or a girl. And if it was going to be a boy, we were going to pick Carlisle, not because of Twilight, but because his grandfather was Carlisle. They called him Carl, but he was Carlisle.
Or it was Carl and my father called him Carlisle. I can't remember.
Oh.
It was one of the other.
No, it's his family.
But Carlisle was my grandfather's name in a roundabout way.
Yeah, and I loved it. But we were in revival, and the pastor said, turn to Titus something. I wish now I remembered what it was, because he'd probably like to know that one day. And I don't know, my heart just skipped a beat. And if you are a Christian and have experienced the conviction of the Lord, you know what that feels like. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And the only peace I found in my prayer time was when I was like, should I name the baby Titus? Because my ultrasound just kept popping in my head. And I got the most peace over me whenever I prayed that. So I was like, okay, hope it's a boy. And yeah, so that's Titus. Adalea is a little bit more fun. We didn't know we were pregnant with her at the time when we went to South Carolina to this little tourist spot. And it's called, well, we thought it was called Adalea's Castle, but it's actually Spanish. It's supposed to be pronounced Italaya. And...
Oh no. Bear with us. We're still here. I'm not re-recording this. This takes too long. Okay? So y'all are just going to have to deal with this. Una momento. That was fun. Okay. I think it's good. Don't fall again.
Okay. So yeah, it's pronounced Italaya, but we thought it was Adalea, and we thought it was so pretty. And I told him if we ever had another baby, and if it was a girl, I was going to name her Adalea. And who knew? We were pregnant, and it happened to be a girl, so here she is. So there's that question. All right, so on to the next one, because we posted like 3 times on Facebook. From Kathy Cycleather, it says, "What is the most embarrassing thing each other has done?"
Oh my.
We'll just do you, because I do know that further down someone specifically asked something that I've done that's embarrassing. Something like that.
Oh wow. I can't think. I've got so many.
Most embarrassing moment of your life. Yeah.
I really don't know because I literally have so many. That's a hard one. I wished I would have known that was a question. I would have thought more about this. Let's come back to that one.
You're not easily embarrassed, though.
I know, but I have had some embarrassing moments. Okay, I'll regret saying this. But Kathy Steichleather will appreciate this. Tina Fry will. And Miranda Despain, if you watch this, you will greatly appreciate this.
I'm intrigued.
I'm going to regret saying this because it's going to be all over the internet.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I might have been maybe 7 or 8. I don't know. I was real young. And me, my mom, Miranda, which is my cousin, and my other cousin DJ, we were at a drugstore called Refco, which some of you younger generation don't know what that is, but that's basically what we know as Rite Aid now. Anyhow, I had to go to the bathroom really bad. And I went to the bathroom and I didn't quite make it. And
how?
I was about 7 or 8 probably, maybe.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I was young. I'm 32 now, so it's been a few years ago. Anyway, I can't remember the full story, but I remember not making it to the bathroom in time. It's really gross, but I didn't make it to the bathroom.
Was it a pee or poo?
Oh, it was a number 2. And anyhow, I'm in the bathroom crying, asking for my mom, and DJ and Miranda are laughing at me.
Cousins are awful.
They are. They're so bad. So, anyway, I started complaining about how it felt funny and all that, and how I had mess all over me, and my cousin Miranda, being the loving, sweet cousin she is, started calling me butt crust. And it made me so mad. And I was like 7 or 8. And all you church people I go to church with, don't you dare call me that, because I am a preacher and I know some things I can preach about you.
Stop that.
Anyhow, that was the most embarrassing moment in my life that I can think of right now.
We'll get to mine in a minute because it's coming. But speaking of church, the next question is, what led you to go... Okay, this is by Chandra Smith. What led you to go to church where you go now? It's not just like one definite reason. It's definitely a few different things. But on the spiritual side of it, when I first became saved at 16, I just kind of went with what everybody else in my church was feeling and doing. And not that that's bad, because the church we were going to was awesome. And just wonderful leadership, and it was just really good there. But for myself, when I studied out, I just don't believe I can lose my salvation, and that's something that my home church did believe. And it kind of is a pretty foundational thing. So that was part of it. And on a more carnal side, at this other church, I have more mommy friends. Like half my homeschool group goes there. And I didn't have a ton of mommy friends at my original church with like little kids. I think I had like 2.
Yeah, and they're still good friends. And I've got a lot of daddy friends now. And I know it sounds weird, but the previous church, like she said, it's a phenomenal ministry, phenomenal pastor. We're still friends with the pastor, and we're still friends with many people in that congregation. But I do have a lot of daddy friends, and like you were saying with the children, the church we are now has a phenomenal children's program.
Oh, and kids everywhere.
Huge children's program.
Everywhere.
And that's so, to us, that's important because we want our children to grow up knowing the Word of God and being enriched, and they're getting enriched on their level as they get older. It's tailored to their age. And we think that's very important. And there again, the church we went to is a phenomenal church, and it's nothing to do with them. It is doctrinal, though.
Just kind of just some, I don't want to say petty personal stuff, but just, I don't know, it kind of feels kind of petty, but I mean, it was just some foundational stuff that our family just needed at this point in time. So yeah. All right, next question by either Bobby or Deanna1. Love it. How much older is Billy? Billy is 6 years older than me. He is 32, and I am 26. And how in the world did he convince your dad to let him marry you?
Well,
my daddy has a wee bit of a checkered past, and we eloped rather quickly. We told nobody, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway because my daddy was in prison at the time, and he found out in a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I actually met her dad was when she was in labor with our first daughter.
Yeah.
It's the first time I ever met him.
And I think that was a good moment because I was, in pain and all that. So my dad was feeling more concerned about me and my well-being than beating him up.
4 minutes left according to that.
Okay. All right. So we'll try to do that quickly. How do you do? Oh, Kathy Cycleather said, "How do you do a Billy daily?" Coffee, medication. No, I've learned to grow a sense of humor. Nerves of steel over here. All right, Kathy Cycleather again. What is some good advice for a newly married couple, and how do you make it work? Prayer, Jesus, learning how not to be selfish. If you're getting into a marriage, in my opinion, for what someone else can add to your life, no, change your mindset, change it now.
Right.
You should think of your spouse as a ministry and what you can do for him, what you can do for them, and hopefully you feel the same way.
Yeah, and also to add to that, be patient. That's something you got to do. Be patient with everything because we've had to learn to have a lot of patience with each other, and take your time. Don't rush anything, which is what we've done throughout the beginning of our marriage.
I actually read something this morning that said perfectionism and growth is two very different things. Perfectionism will make you angry. Growth will create love. So, yeah. Anyway, Kathy Cycleather again. If you could change one thing about each other, what would it be? What would it be, Billy?
Your hair.
What's wrong with my hair?
It needs to be long again. When we met, it came down to her waist. So
it was longer.
We got about 2.5 minutes.
Okay. So if I could change one thing about you, he's probably gonna be embarrassed by this, but honestly, it's his extreme openness to fart in front of me. He has no sense of smell. He has no idea
That's
how
true.
rough that crap lingers that comes out of his body.
No pun intended with the word used there.
No, it wasn't.
Minute and a half.
Now I feel bad. Anyway. All right, so from Tina Fry. Caitlin, what is the most embarrassing thing you have done in front of me? First time I ever met her, me and Billy were just kind of laying on the living room floor, and their living room floor was a very thin...
By the way, Tina's my mother.
Yeah.
For y'all that don't know.
Very thin layer of flooring, and then a big open basement, crazy open. So everything on that floor echoed, and we started just laughing and cutting up, and I ended up farting, and it echoed really loud. And then they got me laughing again, and I done it again. And that was my first time meeting her. I was mortified. Just mortified.
Good times.
It was awful. And then Jeremiah Webb asked, what defines a healthy marriage?
LARPing weekly.
No.
That's just for you, Jeremiah.
I mean, if that's your thing, sure. But what defines a healthy marriage is your ability to trust each other, love each other, no matter what. Christ loved you unconditionally, so you need to love your spouse unconditionally.
And to serve each other.
And serve each other. Just extreme love. Yeah.
10
All
seconds.
right. We got 10 seconds or it's going to cut off. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that like button. Bye.
Bye.